Okay, we got back. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. So let me get these lights turned back on, off, whatever direction they gotta go. You know, sometimes computer programs just do weird stuff. Okay, let me get the sheet music open back up. Okay, that time I understand why the sound went away. I put my cursor in the wrong spot. Okay, so when I was a little kid, I loved Superman. I was crazy about Superman. And I was just gonna go somewhere with this, and then my sound got screwed up again. Totally lost my train of thought here. Okay, this is not a train of thought kind of night. So let's do this. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Since I don't have a train of thought, this album is my 56th. It is titled It Matters Not. I'm gonna put out a challenge for the listeners, if you are in fact so inclined. If you can figure out what the reference was from which I named this, and it is something that is easily accessible to all, I will send you a CD of your choice from my collection, postage paid. You can pick out any CD of mine and I will print it up and mail it to you. The first person who can tell me the correct reference for the title of this album, an album of your choice. That'll be fun. All right, so we'll do that. Because, yeah, I was going to say some stuff, and that my brain is no longer saying, stuff. Stuff is not happening in Randy's brain right now. If anyone here is new, this is not my standard. So thank you for bearing with us. Sometimes we do have tech problems. I've had much worse tech problems than this in the past. But yeah, it matters not. Where does the title come from? That is the contest for the day. One free CD of your choice mailed to you on me. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to play some guitar since words are clearly not a happening thing for me right now. This next song is in C minor, and it's called Strange Creatures. Hang on a second. Because I restarted, I didn't have my audio right on my end. Okay, kids, here we go. Let's see if I can actually do a show tonight. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for coming in. Thrash Putin, thank you very much for becoming a frequent Raider and greatly appreciated. I see we got Maps for Martians in here. Maps for Martians, let me give a shout out to Thrash Putin and Maps, both very cool streamers. Let's see if I can do this. S.O. Thrash Putin. Check these guys out, please. And shout out to Maps for Martians. Great username, too. Both very cool people. And glad to have you here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for coming in. Always great to have people. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty, so you actually rated at a very good time. Just before that song, that was my second song of the evening. And just before that, my microphone had completely cut out. I had to bring my whole system back up. So good time to come in. Thank you very much. And I noticed we had a question up here. Thank you for your patience from Michaela. I believe I saw. Michaela from YouTube asked, do you know Shadow played by Joy Division? I don't, and actually in the way I'm set up for my shows, I don't do requests, and that's only because I have a setup, these are all original songs, and the setup is such that I can't just add a new song in here and there. It's kind of set up as a show all at once. So apologies for not being able to play that for you. But that's kind of the way that I'm set up here. I hope that you enjoy my originals, and I do appreciate you being here. Looks like we've got Maps for Martians. Thanks for the follow. Vader Kid 08, thanks for the follow. And Sheep Panda 3, thank you very much for the follow. I hope you guys get a kick out of what we do. For those who are just coming in, I'm the Mad Poet. We are the Mad Poet Society. You are an audience. We do music, and we talk about stuff in chat. I'm a small streamer, and I have a good time here. I love playing guitar. If you ever have anyone ask you, hey, tell me what the Mad Poet's all about, just say, Randy plays guitars and eats pizza, baby. That's it. That's all you need to know, right there. Because those are the things that are important in life. All right, so right now we are playing my 56th album. This is titled It Matters Not. And since we got some more people in, I'm going to reissue the challenge. I'm going to send a copy of any of my published albums. I've got 64 albums that are published. To the first person, and it's on me, I'm gonna cover shipping and everything. Pick a CD and I will ship it to you. For the first person who can tell me where I got the title of this album is titled It Matters Not. And it's not a terribly obscure reference, but it's not out in the forefront. I will narrow it down. It is from a film. And I noticed a John Lennon reference from Therese. If that was your answer to the question, that is not it. So, we've got a bunch of emotes happening. And yeah, nice way to arrive. I appreciate all of this. Absolutely. What else do we got here? Yeah, and of course, you are welcome for the shout out. All right. Okay, so yeah, we have not seen the correct answer for that yet. You know what? I would actually, Michaela, I would have to listen to the song. I don't have a reference for that right in the top of my head. I do like Joy Division. I haven't listened to a ton of them. So I don't have an answer for that. But I'll tell you what, I will make a note to listen to that. And if you come back in next week, I will have an answer for you. How does that work? Well, I'll try to do some marketing here and get you back again. Shadow Play, Joy Division. I'll listen to that tonight. It is not from Lord of the Rings. It is not from Lord of the Rings. It is a very specific reference, and it's something that ever since I saw this film, this line has just run through my head. Just at times. So please do put my notifications on. Thank you very much. That's great. And for those who are just coming in, I stream every Friday. My current schedule is I do 2 albums at noon, and I do 2 albums at 8 p.m. Those are in the Pacific time zone. And today for the first time, I'm doing 4 full albums. I would do 2 albums and then do the same 2 albums in the evening. So this time I'm trying out, earlier today I played my 47th and 52nd albums. And now I'm doing my 56th. And we're going to follow this up with my 55th, which is titled The Patron Saint of Murderers. Yes, 4 full albums. So we're in the 3rd one of the day right now, but we're only about 3 songs in. So we still got a good couple hours of music to go. And stick around as much as you want. Anyone who, if you want to simply watch in the background and lurk, you're always welcome to do that. If you wish to participate in chat, you're welcome to do that. I'm actually streaming to 12 different websites. And so I don't know how many of you, you might see some comments from YouTube or Facebook or some of the other websites that I go to. So let's do some music. How do you guys feel about that? Looks like we're gonna slow it down here a little bit. I just practiced this album last night, but I don't, okay. We'll talk more after. I'm gonna play some music. This next one, it looks like we're gonna slow it down a little bit. A lot of times when I play a song, I'm like, I don't remember what this sounds like. So I just kind of have to play it and see where my hands go. This one is called Even in Silence. Cycling Virgil says, let me get this in the right place before I can read here. Never iron a 4-leaf clover. You don't want to press your luck. Thank you, Tom, for providing comedic relief. Welcome, everybody. If anyone's just coming in, I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. You are now official members of the Mad Poet Society, whether following, viewing, listening, smelling, or whatever it is you're doing with my show. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna issue the challenge again for anyone who just may be coming in. If you can tell me where the title of this album comes from, I will send you on fully paid a copy of any CD from my collection of 64 that I've published. And the question is this: where is this song title, this album title from? The album is titled "It Matters Not." It is from a film. That's the clue that I've given. We've had a couple of guesses. So far, we have not given that CD away. This is my 56th of 64 CDs. We just played the first 3 songs, and now we're going to play the 4th song, because I had this thing where I just play the songs in order. I know it's crazy. I came up with that all on my own. It's like, gosh, which song should I play next? Maybe the next one. So this next song, I've spoken about this a few times in my shows. I like to play in a lot of different keys. So I move around. You people who are new may be noticing I kind of use a lot of the guitar. I enjoy doing that. And I play in standard tuning. And in standard tuning, the key of B flat minor does not have any open strings available in it. And makes it a little more interesting to play. You don't have like a safety net, so to speak. Goblet of Fire, no. Harry Potter is the most common guess when I have asked this question. And there is a statement, "It matters not," in the Harry Potter series. I want to say it's either Dumbledore or Sirius Black says something about it matters not what a person's character is, but more about their actions or something like that. So that reference is in Harry Potter, but that is not where I got this song title. So we have knocked out the most common answer, which is the Harry Potter series. It's still out there. I mean, how many more movies can there be? I mean, there aren't very many movies, right? Come on. I'll narrow it down. This is one of the movies that has actors in it. So there's a clue for you. How can you not get it now, right? It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. That's the quote. Well done, Thrash Putin. That is the Harry Potter one. That is not the one that got to this album. I will say that Harry Potter, I will give a legitimate clue here, I would consider it not terribly far away from the correct genre of music. It's not quite in line, but it's not far away. So that may or may not help. But I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I have read the books probably 5 or 6 times. I think my mother's read them about a dozen times. Seen the movies. Definitely a big fan of the Harry Potter series. So I was pretty sure that answer was going to come up, and we haven't got it yet. So this next song is in B flat minor. And it just kind of makes you think differently about how you move around the fretboard and how you use your notes, because like I said, you don't have that kind of safety net to fall back on, which is interesting. So let's see what we can do with this. This is the 4th song of the album. It is called Second Destination. All right. So we are moving on along. This song, I'm going to admit, not sure if I'm ready for it. So I was talking a little earlier, and I think my sound was actually out at the time, that I have played this album only one time before. And it live, obviously I played it when I did the recordings, but this is only my second live performance of this. And it was quite a while back. I don't remember quite when it was, but I went in to update my lights for it, because I have to program all of my light changes that occur back here. And I knew that I had lights in it, but I looked at it and it was back from when I only had 4 lights sitting on the floor in the back of the room. And I was like, oh, I'm essentially reprogramming the lights from the ground up in this. I kind of just had a reference of what I had done last time. So it's been a long time since I played it. So I practiced through it a couple times. And this next song uses a lot of sextuplets, which means my right hand is going to be really kind of going for it. And I played through it earlier this afternoon to bone up on. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see what I get to. So I'm not sure where this one's going to go. It's in E minor. It's only about 100 beats a minute, so it'll feel like the tempo's kind of changing because I'll have some faster and slower parts, but it's actually kind of a consistent type of a thing. Sheep Panda 3 says, I got to go now. Nice to meet you. Have a good rest of your stream. Sheep Panda 3, thank you very much for coming in, for following, and for watching the show while you could. You are always welcome back, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great night. Whatever it is you do it well. For the rest of us, let's see how well I do rocking out to the Crypt. Okay, made it through. Made it through. Not the best performance. I could do better. I'll keep working on it. Yeah, fun note. Okay, cameras are working. So, certainly because we got some new people, a lot of my regulars are going to be familiar with this, but on every album that I do, I dedicate at least one song to someone that I know, someone that I like. And this particular song is dedicated to Kelsey, who is my daughter's best friend in the world, and they're not children anymore because we're all getting old. That happens. But I know Kelsey was hoping to be here tonight. I don't know, Kelsey, if you made it out, if you're watching on any of the available channels, but if you are, I hope you are doing awesome. This is going out for you. This is a piece in C sharp minor. Actually this will not affect you guys' volume, but I'm gonna turn up a little bit for myself here because I need to rock a little harder. C sharp minor, let's do this. This song is called Strange Disclosures. And so we're moving on along. We're going to slow it down here a little again. I kind of tend to do that throughout the course of my albums. I like to have a bit of an ebb and a flow, some waxing and waning of, not just, coming out 100% heavy metal and hitting it all the way through. I like to have the slow and the medium and the fast and the hard and the heavy and the light and all of that stuff kind of flowing through. So we're going to slow it down a bit. Now my intention when setting this up was to take that guitar right there, and right now that's set up to do slide blues guitar, and I was going to set it up to play these lighter songs on that, and I just didn't get around to it, so I'm just going to continue to play them on here. But I think I'm going to grab a stool. I'm going to sit down for this one. Actually, what happens in this one? What happens in this song? Is this a good sit-down song? This is absolutely a good sit-down song. Cool. So we're just going to kind of relax here a little bit. See what happens with all that. What do we got here? We got some F minor going on. 92 beats a minute. Nice little clean tone piece. Let's see what happens. This is called, Okay, I told this story earlier. We were talking about John Denver in the early show today, and it made me think of this. So I'm a runner. I love running. And I went out for my run last night. It was a little later than normal. Out here, I live in eastern Washington. It's a desert area. And, sun goes down at around 5 o'clock. So I was out there basically at sunset, and I'm on the last half of my run. I'm coming back in toward town. I'm out in the desert area, just wheat fields and desert for miles around. And I'm running in, and I see one of the most amazing sunsets I have ever seen in my life. We have some killer sunsets and also sunrises. If you ever have a chance to see a moonrise in the desert, do it. It's brilliant. Sunrises and sunsets in the desert, also amazing. Moonsets, not so much. Those are kind of boring. But, so I'm running along, and I'm just kind of running. I'm running this way, the sunset's right over there. So it's just the way the clouds were partial, so you get some of the cerulean kind of coming through the clouds, you get the gray of the clouds, you get the crimson. There was the shades of crimson were just unbelievable, kind of tinted with the purple edges, and wow, it was amazing. It's the kind of thing that I don't take a photograph of and put on Facebook, because you can just never do it justice. And I'd also have to go on Facebook, and Facebook sucks. And no, if you are watching on Facebook, no apologies. So I'm actually streaming to 2 different Facebook pages, my personal and the Mad Poet page, but I don't care. Facebook sucks. They can kick me off. I don't care. Yeah, amazing. And so just seems like a good lead into this. This song is called Light on the Horizon. So there's that. Stool out of the way. We're definitely picking it back up with this next one here. All right. I did not get water before I started this. I'll see if I can get some when I switch over albums. I had hoped to make the album switch over very smooth. I'm trying to work on a smoother process for switching from album to album. But because I had to shut down for my microphone issues earlier, I had to shut down the audio software. That took all of that away. So maybe I'll have a chance. Because, well, I got two more songs on this album I'm going to play tonight, and then we're going to move into the Patron Saint of Murderers, which is a pretty hot and heavy album. There's some slower bits on it, but it's a pretty hot and heavy piece all the way through. And fun fact, the Patron Saint of Murderers is the first album I ever played on stream, so that's coming up after two more songs. But right now, something we've got to talk about. Some of you may already know what's happening, because ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the G sharp minor portion of the show. You are welcome. Because that's what we do here. All right, so let's hit this. This one actually uses a bit of fingerstyle in it. So I'll put this pick out of the way. It's a nice upbeat piece, G sharp minor. This is called Guardian of the Lost. We got Paul coming in on Facebook from Mission Valley, California. Let's see if I can get this back. There we go. All right. So welcome, Paul. Good to see you again. Paul, I think, is my most regular viewer on Facebook. I've actually just opened up also the Mad Poet musician page Facebook. So there may be some more viewers starting to trickle in at some point from Facebook. We'll see what happens with that. This last song on here, I think this is probably the reason I have gone so long since playing this piece live. This one's a little hard to pull off in a live context. So this has a fairly significant classical guitar style intro. And when I wrote this, I was just sitting, I was fiddling with my classical guitar. I just started playing this really slow A minor chord. And I was like, that's cool. I should make a song out of that. And I did. And that's where this came from. I think I'm gonna have just enough time to grab my empty water bottle and go turn it into a full water bottle. Jar. Actually, I'm drinking out of a canning jar here. So there's a little bit of an intro to this. And I'm gonna get that party started. And we'll be right back with you. This song is called Built on Ruins. Tomas, thank you very much for the tip. Greatly appreciated. And I know that Tom is in tonight. I know that Tom really likes slide blues guitar. And I don't know if I'm going to be set up in the next album to do that. So I think that we should be doing some slide blues guitar here for a moment. Let's get set up for that, shall we, kids? Where can I do some slide blues in here? Okay. Let me grab the, since I didn't set my red guitar up to play the lighter songs, let's do this. Tom says, I sued the airlines for losing my luggage. I lost my case. That's a Tom joke right there. I actually used the slide in my earlier show, but for a very different reason. There's a song on the album Roswell, which I finished off with in the early show, and that song is called Area 52, because everyone already knows about Area 51, right? And in that, I used the slide, and I have like this very heavily reverberated slide guitar thing going on. So now I gotta ask the question, what's going on with this guitar? Oh, I need to switch this input. All right. Haven't done a slide guitar in a while. It's about time we did, isn't it? Let's see what happens with this. There we are. Should I get this on the right way? Figured I better put that guitar down while I got a chance, because I'll just keep playing slide blues all night. I love that stuff, man. It's so fun. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to Patron Saint of Murderers, and we're gonna rock out some more. This will only take a moment. Just a momento. So let's see what I can do. You're gonna lose my audio briefly. Let me see if I can pull up as much as possible to prep for this and make this changeover as smooth as possible. I'll be back with you in just a moment. Thank you. And we're back. Okay, let me pull the sheet music up. I do have to have that going on because I most definitely do not have all this music memorized. And where's the correct spot for me to be? Rewire. Boom. Sheet music opening up in the current conjuncture. Let's get some levels set right on my end. That looks like it'll be good. Let's turn that up a little bit there. Okay. Let's see if the guitar's working. It's always nice when the guitar works, being a guitar-based. I think the guitar's working. One of these days, I want that song I did before the blues improvisation, Built on Ruins. I kind of want to figure out some way to get my my classical guitar so I could do that song, because I really like the classical guitar parts on it, and it would be really. It's the timing of it with the way my backing tracks are set up would be very difficult to pull off. So I've got a few ideas on how I might be able to work that out. I'm going to have to experiment with that at some point in the future and see where that goes. So now we're moving into the Patron Saint of Murderers, an album title inspired by a video game that I occasionally played. And I realized when I was doing my early show today that two of the albums that I played today are the two albums that have titles inspired by this same video game. City of Souls I played earlier, my 52nd album. City of Souls is an area in the video game City of Heroes, which is really the only video game I play, and even in that, I don't play very much. I think after I play this album, I think I may actually kick back with a drink, which I only do on rare occasions, and play a video game, which I only do on rare occasions, and just kind of relax and have a relaxed night of it. But then the Patron Saint of Murderers also came from that video game. There's a place where you can do like a bio for your characters, and I like to read characters' bios and one to describe himself as the Patron Saint of Murderers. So I messaged that person. I'm like, I'm going to use that as an album title. You should totally check it out. I don't know if he or she ever did, but it's fun stuff. And so this, as I mentioned earlier, is the first album that I ever did a live stream of, which was been about a year and a half ago at this point, and I have had just an absolute great time doing these streams, and there have been some extremely cool people come through. So this next song is going to be the first one I ever did, the first song that I ever streamed. This is called The Birth of Darkness off of my 55th album, The Patron Saint of Murderers. Let's do this. Let's get some smoke going. Let's get some rock and roll going. Yeah, so Tom's put something up here. Let's take a look at what he's got. Tom says, Alex Lifeson from Rush has his acoustic attached to a stand for the trees while he's wearing his electric. Quick instrument change needed there. Yeah, I'm familiar with the acoustic guitar stand. And in this, for what I would need for songs like Built on Ruins, and there's some other ones I wouldn't mind doing. My 25th album is called Exist Loudly. The first song on it is called I Find Peace in the Rain. It's a similar scenario where it's more, for me, it's less about the change of the instrument. I can do that fairly readily for the way I'm set up, but this is about the timing. So the big thing in that would be, if you recall from that song, it's got about a minute and a half of acoustic, a classical guitar, but there's no drums to play to. And so chances are strong that if I was to play that and just kind of look at the sheet music, I would be off on the timing when the rest of the ensemble came in. So that would be kind of what I got to deal with. So I got to find some way of getting a better timing mechanism so that I can play along with the backing tracks. That's one of the difficulties with the way I'm set up here, is because there's so much recorded music, it's great for a lot of things. For example, I don't have to rely on other musicians, which can be really tough. And particularly with the amount of music that I've got, it's tough for people to keep up with that. But in a live setting, a song like that would not be difficult to pull off, because I would set the initial tempo, the rest of the band would come in, boom, and then matching up with the ensemble is not difficult. But because of the recorded nature of it, that's kind of what I'm working with. So the switchover is of less concern, unfortunately, than those timing concerns. So like I said, I've got some ideas. I'll play with it. I really like the song. It's in my opinion, a very cool piece. I generally like my own music. So yeah, we'll see. But there will definitely need to be a guitar changing it twice from classical to electric. Actually, it'd have to be 4 changes. Well, no, I'd probably leave the middle change out and just, because it's so brief. I don't know. I'd have to play with it. There are things. Let's call it things. I need some water. But I do like the way you're thinking, because it's solutions that we're looking for. And that, if it were just a switchover solution, that would be a really good one. The guitar stands can really be beneficial. And that would be kind of interesting too, because normally classical guitars do not have traditionally a place to put a guitar strap. They're made to be played seated. And so there, I could do the thing where you flip one guitar around and have the stand set up here so that I could play standing. And that would be a very interesting way to play classical guitar. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens if I get there. Could be fun. So we're moving up on the title track of the album. This song is called The Patron Saint of Murderers. And as soon as I started composing this, I knew that I was going to want harpsichord going all the way through it. I love harpsichord. And with The Patron Saint of Murderers, you kind of got to have something creepy going on. So I went with harpsichord on this. Very pleased with the way this composition came out. Also very fun to play. This album, I think, I don't think there's a song on here that isn't just fun to play. So, generally, I don't know. I just think it's fun to play. I'm going to shut up. This is just an awesome song. This is The Patron Saint of Murderers. It's funky chromatic stuff at the end of that solo there. I'm gonna have to listen back to that. I think that might have been really cool. It might have been really garbage. I'm not sure how that one worked out. Okay, this album overall I feel like has a bit more of the upbeat stuff going on. We're definitely continuing that on this next song. I'm gonna get a drink of water, then we're gonna play. So I'm definitely needing some hydration here. Psycho Tom saying good night. Thanks for the show, Mr. Poet. Thank you very much for coming in, Tom. Love having you here. Thank you very much for the tip. Greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm glad you liked the blues guitar. I saw that you mentioned that it sounded good. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you next week, my friend. Have a great night. Sleep well. For those rest of us who are going to be sticking around and rocking, this song is called Stained with Sin. And we are moving right on along. And for anyone who may be just coming in, I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. We do hard rock music here mostly. We also have some lighter stuff. We play a large variety of keys, and we like G sharp minor. This is kind of what's going on here. There has been a challenge issued tonight for anyone who may be just coming in or hasn't heard it yet. I'm playing 2 albums in this late show for Friday. First one was called It Matters Not, and this album we're playing now is called The Patron Saint of Murderers. I haven't gotten an answer yet. I haven't got a right answer yet. First person who can tell me where the pop culture reference to It Matters Not will have a CD of their choice from my collection of 64 published CDs sent to them, and I'll pay for the shipping and everything. So far we've had John Lennon as an answer. That was not it. We've had The Goblet of Fire, and we had at least one other reference. So far we have not had anyone hit on it. And I'm also going to put this out. I'm not going to tell anyone tonight. If we don't get it, I'm not going to put it out, and I'll issue the challenge again in the future until someone does get it, and we'll see where that all goes. But we are going to slow it down a little bit here. We're going to get into some B minor. This next piece is called An Angel Flying with Broken Wings. Oh, it is toasty in my house here. I am definitely starting to sweat this one out. Okay. This next song is dedicated to my buddy Duncan. Duncan and I used to play together in Hades Machine, a punk band, and we had such a freaking blast. Hades Machine was just a fun band. Technically, it's still together. I'm kind of an unofficial member. I was talking about this in the early show that my buddy Jake, who founded and heads up Hades Machine, contacted me, it was probably a few months ago now, 2 or 3 months ago, and asked if I'd play guitar on a Killing Joke cover for a tribute album he'd been asked to contribute to. And I was like, yeah, totally. That sounds awesome. So I did that, and we were talking. He's like, yeah, it looks like Hades Machine is just kind of you and I right now. It's kind of a recording project. I'm like, dude, I'm totally in for that at all times. So, since parting ways with that band, which was a decade ago at this point, I've probably filled in for them in shows, 12, 14 times. It's fun music, just really fun punk music. And so, yeah, Duncan, to whom I dedicated this song, just a great guy, and we just always had such a blast on stage. This one's got some key changes in it, got some tempo changes, and for the musicians out there, listen for the one measure of 5/4 that I hit in this. Sometimes it's kind of tough to find. This is called The Castle of the Crimson Knight. So I set these up a little different than normal, and I just identified a few things in there that I definitely need to look at before the next time I play this album. But it should be pretty much confined to that, but I got a few things I'll have to do different when I set these up in the future. I'm trying to find some better ways of doing like my changes between albums and all that kind of stuff, and so we figure this stuff out as we go along. And get sweat in our glasses and all that kind of stuff. All right. If anyone's still out there, thanks for hanging in or for coming in. Wherever you are at with whatever you're doing, I hope it's going well. I'm the Mad Poet, and we're playing some rock music because that's kind of what we do here. I don't have anything witty to say about this next piece, so I think I'm just going to jump straight into it. This one is called The Vulture Awaits. Moving right on along. Where are we at here? That was song number 6. I think we have 12 songs on this album. So we're about halfway through, probably a little more than halfway through. I've got a couple of shorter ones toward the end. I know that the last song on here is only like, I think 2 minutes long or something. Not my shortest. My shortest song is about 3 seconds long, and it is quite appropriately titled A Very Short Song. And then my longest song, I actually have 3 that are tied for my longest song at exactly 52 minutes 25 seconds. Those are my 17th, 34th, and 51st albums respectively. Those are the Asymmetric Writing series. And when I get to my 68th album, that will again be an asymmetric writing. Every 17th album is Asymmetric Writings. And I actually caught myself playing the Asymmetric Writings theme accidentally in one of my solos earlier. That occurs at least once in every Asymmetric Writing songs, and they're also all exactly 52 minutes 25 seconds. And when I'm in my recording program, I actually bring it down to within 1,000th of a second for the final on that. So it is exactly as close as I can get it to 52 minutes 25 seconds. So those are my longest. 3 seconds is my shortest, but we do have some shorter ones coming up here. I've got a variety of songs in between all of those lengths. So, yeah, this album, good, a lot of good upbeat, high energy numbers on it, which is fun. I like the high energy stuff. So let's continue with that. We're getting into some F sharp Phrygian in this. Is this F sharp Phrygian or is this more of an E? I think this is more of an F sharp Phrygian. I was kind of looking at the notes, thinking it might be kind of an E Dorian, but I think F sharp Phrygian fits the bill best on this. Yes. This piece is called Unspoken Malice. What's happening, Late Night Mad Poet Society members? Societans? What are the members of a society called? I guess members. Hey, Gaiden! How you doing? Welcome back. Good to see you again as always. We're having a lot of fun here tonight. Thanks for coming in, everybody. Anyone who may be coming in on, it looks like we got a few people on Nemo watching. Feel free to chat if you are so inclined. You, of course, are not. Someone has just put up the letters BTS on Nemo. I'm not sure what the reference is, but hey, welcome from wherever you're coming from. If you're on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or the other Facebook, because I'm streaming to 2 Facebook pages, or if you're on Nemo or Nono or DLive or Trovo or Africa. The only place you might be chatting that I won't see is Africa TV. I can see the chat for 11 of my 12 websites. Welcome one, welcome all to the Mad Poet Society. We are moving in on the last few songs of the evening. I've played 4 full albums today. Started at noon doing 2 albums, and I started again at 8 o'clock with 2 more. Right now we're playing the Patron Saint of Murderers. And for anyone who has just come in recently, if you haven't heard the challenge for the night, the 3rd album I played, I started at 8 o'clock. I was playing an album called It Matters Not. It's my 56th album. Right now we're playing my 55th, called the Patron Saint of Murderers. So I've issued a challenge and a reward. If you can tell me the reference from where I got the album title, It Matters Not, then I will send you a CD of your choice out of my collection of 64 that I've published, free of charge. Postage is on me. I cover shipping and everything. We had a few guesses. Someone guessed John Lennon. Someone guessed Harry Potter. There was one other guess out there that did not turn out to be accurate. No one's got it yet. At the end of the show, I am not going to reveal the answer. And next time I play that album, if no one wins it this time, I will reissue the challenge until someone does. So wherever you're watching from, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're doing it well. I hope you are doing well. We're getting some C sharp minor here. This album's got a lot of upbeat pieces on it. That's probably one of the reasons I play it so much. This next, I'm really not an angry person. If you were to judge me just by my song titles, you would probably think I'm a pretty angry dude. I'm really not. I'm a pretty happy guy. I've got a pretty good life. Got this awesome studio. This is also my office where I teach from. I teach for a living, which is awesome. I teach music for a living. So I don't really know how much to complain about. But like I said, if you just judge me by album and song titles, you would have a very false impression of my personality. This song is called 2 Kinds of Anger. Looks like we've got a light has gone errant here again. I actually fixed this one earlier in a little positive song while you guys were all looking at sheet music. Worked out quite well. We'll just do it again. If that's how it's going to be about it. Easy enough. So we are going to slow it down here a little bit. Moving on to song number 9 of album 55, The Patron Saint of Murderers. Getting into a little C minor action here. This song is called Blessed Are the Wicked. Okay. So we're moving in toward the end of the show here. Just trying to. I'm not entirely familiar with. I just set up the chat boxes for Nemo TV, Nono Live, Picardo, and Vaughn Live. I'm not as familiar with how those work. They're not the most conveniently located either. They're right behind a camera. So it happens. We're still working the system out. It's never changing, process improvement. It's what we do. It's what we do. I also drink water. I like water. So this is song number 10 of 12 of this album, which is, I guess we're doing 20 songs for this show. I think we ended up doing about 38 or 40 songs through the course of the 2 shows today. So a lot of music playing, and I'm not dissatisfied with that at all. This is kind of a shorter one, and then the last song, of course, is the shortest on this album. But this is a song that I've kind of gone back and forth on my thoughts on this. Really like the feel of this song. I've sometimes felt that I should have made this longer because I've got some really cool riffs. But then sometimes I play it and I'm like, no, that was just the right length. So I kind of go back and forth on my opinion. I always like it. I was kind of go back and forth on should I have expanded this song, but I didn't. So this is what we go with. This is another one that if you only judged me on album titles, you would think I was crazy. This one is called 6 Scars. right, moving toward the end now. And this song I've talked about a lot of times because this I believe that Finite Reality is the album I've played the most. This one I think is the second most that I've played. So I've talked about this a lot. I'm not going to go into detail like I have so many times, but this is one of those songs that I set out with an idea in mind, and I ended up with exactly what I wanted. And I've just always been very pleased with the way this turned out, particularly with the main motif of the guitar solo. So my guitar solos, most of this is improvised, but in this you'll hear kind of a repeating motif of... So that's the only part of the solo that's actually written, and that kind of sets the mood, the theme, the motif of the rest of it. So yeah, this one definitely came out the way I wanted it to. This song is called Voices of the Soulless. And so here we are. Empty Labs, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. If you're just coming in, my apologies. We are moving in on the last song of the show and also the shortest song of the show. Lots of stuff is up. Lots of stuff. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in. We're just having a good time here. We're just kind of rocking out and making music and, doing silly guitar stuff, which is what we do here in the Mad Poet Society. As you well know, everyone watching, Empty Labs is the reason we're here. He introduced me to Twitch. I had never heard of it, and he had me check out another Washingtonian named Monty, goes by Scene of Action. And Scene of Action actually is a lot of the inspiration for kind of how I'm set up and how I'm continuing to set all this up, because he has this brilliant light show going. He's got a cool, I think he's on like 24 cameras or something. It's crazy. He's really good and worth checking out. And Michael, of course, is a super cool guy. So yeah. But yeah, we're just kind of making things happen here. We're moving in on the last song of the evening. This is the fourth album I've played today. So we started out at noon with City of Souls, and then we played Roswell. And then I shut down for a few hours. I came back at 8 o'clock, started with It Matters Not. And then we're finishing up with Patron Saint the Murderers. This last song, I'm not going to go into the story behind it. It's called CWO. If you want to know what that means, go to my YouTube channel, look up the video for it. The album is The Patron Saint the Murderers, is the last song on there. It's a very fun video, and you might just know what it's about. This is CWO. Clearly forgot to do the fade out on the backing tracks there, but like I said, I've picked out a few things in this that I'm going to have to kind of rectify a little bit. So trying out some new audio stuff with everything. I think this show went pretty well tonight. Thank you very much all for being here. If you came in a little on the late side, apologies for not getting more, but after 4 albums, my hands are pretty worn out, so I am going to call it a night. But again, thank you to our new followers. Thanks for coming in, everyone who was watching and listening and smelling the show. The tippers, thank you very much. This has been fantastic. Love doing this. I'm going to be back next Friday with 4 different albums. Not sure which ones are going to be, but I'll figure that out over the week. And that's what we're going to do. So you guys have a great night. Whatever you do, do it well.